And my background is an investment bank and education in UK and Morocco. And I was looking for a job in Tokyo when I got back in Japan, and that was 14 years ago. And then it was difficult because when I could find my position, I couldn't find a place for my boys and vice versa. So I went back to Matsumoto figuring out what to do. Then I remembered what the moms in Matsumoto say. They don't have international schools, and then they started offering activities for kids and parents. And the participants number increased so much, and then it was volunteer work for several months, but I realized that there's a certain demand for such type of learning environment.
That's Rie Kuribayashi, founder of the International School of Nagano, a thriving school offering International Baccalaureate preschool, elementary, and middle school education across 9 campuses, all within the beautiful and natural borders of Nagano Prefecture. Rie, a Nagano native herself, founded the school in 2012 after realizing there wasn't international education opportunities for her children when she returned home after years abroad. To say Rie's home after years abroad. To say Rie's time spent overseas was extensive would be an understatement. It included studying in the United Kingdom after graduating from high school, where she earned a degree in early childhood psychology and English language teaching from the University of Buckingham, as well as an MBA from the University of Birmingham Graduate School. Rie has also been involved in childhood education with a British curriculum and worked as an international trader for an investment bank in Casablanca, Morocco. While volunteering to deliver supplies to remote areas, she also gained experience in operating and consulting for a French curriculum kindergarten with local kindergarten staff. So, needless to say, when Rie returned home to Nagano, she knew well what she was looking for when it came to international education, but it was nowhere to be found. And that's when she said, why not build a school myself? What came thereafter has been, to date, a 14-year journey turning an idea into not only a reality, but warm memories for herself, her staff, and students lucky enough to have been enrolled in her school. For both parents and students, if the social media comments, Google reviews, and parent interviews on the website are any indication, they have had an overwhelmingly positive experience creating and cherishing memories of their own. What follows is an in-depth conversation with Rie about why Nagano, why international education, how we got here, and what the future holds for the International School of Nagano. But first, some housekeeping. The Property Adjacent podcast is brought to you by Patience Realty, your partner in Japan's residential real estate market. Patience Realty connects international clients with Japanese residences, exclusive resorts, and income-generating properties nationwide. Our Tokyo-based team provides tailor-made service to meet your unique needs. By dropping your email on our website, you'll gain access to off-market property listings that aren't publicly available, giving you an edge in finding your ideal investment or dream home in Japan. In addition, Patience Realty offers bilingual property management services, including income-generating and second home management, ensuring your assets are expertly handled. Non-resident owners can also benefit from our virtual bank account services for seamless domestic payments and rent collection. Finally, stay informed with Patience Realty Intelligence, where we publish daily guidance on Japan's residential real estate market, putting you on par with the Japanese consumer. Visit patiencerealty.com today to learn more. And now, without further ado, we are proud to present Rie Kuribayashi.
You're listening to Property Adjacent by Patience Realty.
Excellent. Tell me about the International School of Nagano.
Right. Currently, we have 9 locations, and children aged 2 to older children. We have middle school students. These are attending those schools, and then each campus are located in different cities in Nagano. And we started our school about 13, 14 years ago. We are really, really small school, and now little by little, we are adding more campuses in Nagano Prefecture.
And that's what surprised me when I was aware of your organization, was that exactly how big it is in 2025. So in the beginning, but let's not talk about the challenges at first. Let's talk about the things looking back on it that were easier than you expected. We'll talk about the challenges, but let's talk about what was easier than you expected.
Actually, I was trying to start school in Casablanca, where I was after I graduated school in England. And I wanted to start small scale international school. I started searching for land and people to work with, but that was really, really difficult, and regulations and like maybe trusting issue as well. So then I happened to come back to Japan and start talking to Bank, the business consultant, the parents, and local community. It was really easy for me. So apparently the workload that I had to go through might have been the same, but it was smooth for me. I know what to do. And at the same time, because I had a bit of struggle in Casablanca, that gave me more confidence or more flexibility doing the business in Japan.
Fantastic. Okay, so then to reiterate, yeah, Casablanca's challenges turned into smoother sailing in Japan. Is my
Sure.
understanding correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then anything else that turned out easier than expected?
Well, at the beginning, because I haven't done much of business, it was like my way of doing that. So it was try and see how it goes. But 5 years ago, when I got this session of like team building, working with the team, and then I got a lot smoother that time, 5 years ago, and the number of campus was 2. So you can explain, like you can see that how rapidly we grew as a team / family, that we look after each other and we add more campuses. However, the quality stays the same. And it's really welcoming and a quality program we offer. So that was the turning point 5 years ago that I got to know. I don't have to do this. I shouldn't be doing all this on my own.
Interesting insights. So 14 years ago, you begin, and then 9 years of being the entrepreneur. And it's 5 years ago that, wait, I really need to clue into team building more than I need to focus on the curriculum. It sounds like you had the curriculum because you stayed in business that long, and it was a satisfactory curriculum for the kids and the families. The team building was a paradigm shift for you. Can you go into a little bit more detail there?
Team building consists of a lot of things: the psychological safety, active empathic listening, and then also to begin with, understanding team develops from, I don't know, just a group of bunch of people to we have objectives, so we have strategies, and then when we get to know each other, apparently there are many opinions and conflicts, but that's not a negative thing to look at. We kind of have to celebrate, oh, we have different ideas. So that's the really difficult part for even like one-on-one partnership or the group of people. And then when you go through that, you have better trust and so on. So it's quite systematic, actually, what you have to do. And little things to team, like building a relationship and giving time to understand each other. There's system you can implement to do your one-on-one or group meetings and those things. So a lot of friends own their business in the local area, and they were surprised at how many campus I have. Yeah, those company owners asked me if I can offer workshop, and then I do that like a volunteer basis. I started thinking that maybe I should charge, but I do that regularly and to polish my idea of what we do. And now some of our staff members can offer such workshop and in-house workshop and ISN. So it's like a natural growth. There's like never ending process, but that's that kind of thing is also a treasure for me.
Well, and I want to talk about your personal experience or your professional experience individually with that transformational process. When you're an entrepreneur, you have a vision, you're stuck to it. That's what gets you through the negativity. But then if you're going to scale it out, and you have an international school of business in Nagano, which means it's a human-centric business. It's not like you can rely on technology to scale.
Right.
For you, the entrepreneur, the leader of this enterprise, To scale that business, that human-centric business, what changes did you find happened within your approach and your mentality toward the work? I'm guessing maybe going from bulletproof confidence of an entrepreneur to humility
Mm.
and and increasing listening capacity. Am I on the
Yeah,
right path,
as
or
100%. What I see now is the human side of it and then sort of efficiency. So you have to have the rational sort of business mind, which directly linked to the feedback, which also have a negative connotation sometimes, but we think it's positive. It's just telling them the fact. The number is this. She's saying this and that. So people tend to lean on one side, feels a bit cold to work with together. And the other side is always like emotional, always fluctuate. And it's again hard to be together because what sometimes you don't see the main goal or like main points of what they're worried about. So basically we have to develop both. We want to celebrate both feature is something I learned. And yeah, here comes the personality, individual differences, and accepting, uniqueness. So it's really an interesting puzzle in a big family like us.
so we're talking about basically a service business. And I noticed that you haven't once mentioned the Japanese foreign difference, which I find to be actually extremely sophisticated because it's very easy to kind of chalk everything up to that difference. Oh, Japanese culture's this way and foreign culture's that way, shogunai. But you
Mm.
haven't said that yet. Is there any reason why you haven't said shogunai?
Well, it's just uniqueness, and I see that it's got to be their strength. So how I'm gonna, make use of it. But it's true, time to time, like I said, I really value feedback. When I feel it's really a sixth sense thing that is awkward, he's trying too hard to trying to be too stubborn or too much of something, too kind maybe. And then I tell them, in my point of view, it's a bit not well balanced, but do you feel the same? They usually feel the same. They're acting a bit too hard. And then, okay, is there anything we can or I can help you, support you, do about it? It's like, then they start talking, which is like organizing their thoughts and behavior, reflecting. Then I'll just listen, and then they usually come up with their solution on their own. So it's just giving them opportunity to feedback to kids and to parents, the staff members, any community members. It would be really a gift for them to make things easier, I think.
Feedback as a gift.
Yeah, definitely.
Did that come natural to you, or did you have to learn how to appreciate that feedback?
I learned it 5 years ago. I
So
said,
not so it wasn't a skill. The EQ that you're describing, I think, in this particular practical application was not a natural
yeah, I was
characteristic of you. You had to learn it yourself.
apparently the feedback has to be negative back then. And then so I learned and I start thinking, I'm not hurting this person, but I'm rather looking at like mutual objective. And then to get to mutual objectives, the goal, um, this might not be the best way to do. And what do you think? Sort of. So I'm not attacking a person. And then I practiced that. And then I started losing the fear of the idea that it's going to hurt someone. No, because I'm focusing on the goal. And then there I practice my communication. Listen, I'm looking at the goal. I say maybe first, and then this is the reality. It's basically the grow model, goal, reality, opportunity, ways, and the system as well. So practice doing it, and usually, most of the cases, it works.
So on a tactical level, do you offer your feedback first, or do you invite the other person to give their interpretation of the situation as a starting point?
Mm. I regularly have one-on-one meeting with the people around me, about 12 people. So whenever I heard some story somewhere or I observed how they manage tasks, and I started observing things without judging, good or bad. Because if I start judging, I hesitate to say, oh, that might hurt someone's feeling or something. So it's just that behavior is behavior. And then I tell them, bit strange to me. And can you teach me, or like, can I learn why you acting like this?
It sounds to me that you're approaching the situation by setting the table for openness and by demonstrating through a desire to understand. You're allowing the other person to air their voice and their opinion without fear of judgment. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's more of a pure curiosity. Yeah.
So you keep going back to 5 years ago. What happened 5 years ago?
That time, a friend of mine told me that this session is going to be beneficial for me. And because this friend did a lot of things for me already and didn't ask too much of what's in it. And I just jumped into the session. And then
what session, what kind of session was it?
it's a life coaching session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then told about life itself, but I reflected that time I really needed to focus on the next campus because the second campus was absolutely full. It's tiny, it's not age appropriate. And then so I put the objective as I want to have really nice third campus. But when you have that objective, actually what you need to focus on is the trusting issue, building team and the sort of deeper thing. And then I realized that, and then I start knowing it's important to share my vision, which I haven't with anyone. And I talked to the local people, and then things started to run much smoother.
And up until now, we've been discussing in English, and
Yeah.
you might forgive a listener for thinking this is how you're dealing with foreign folk, parents and staff. But no, you're dealing with Japanese people the same way?
Yes. But I find it much easier because I lived abroad 14 years, and I've married with foreigner and lived with a foreign family setting, and that sort of cultural difference must be an asset for me to understand the differences within same culture like Japanese. Apparently, everybody's belief and priorities are different. So I think I'm a lot more sensitive than before, looking at what they say and what's behind it. I'm more curious to not only the words that they say, but why they say that, what's, and supporting idea to this.
In both Japanese and English?
Yeah, both, yeah.
Let's talk about the challenges now.
Yeah, okay. The challenges are,
It sounds like maybe more than actually building the business was your own personal growth, professional growth in this space. Because self-change is really hard. And I've been in Japan 20 years myself. I actually next year, half my life will be spent here. And how that imprints itself on you and how you grow throughout that journey. I'm extrapolating from my own personal experience what you're discussing right now. It's not the same. There's obvious differences. But personal growth was very difficult for me. Was it challenging for you, or was it kind of like a light bulb came on, and once you got it, you started becoming, the flow became easier, or was it very challenging?
Oh, it was definitely a lifeboat for me. It was
a
lifeboat. Yes, it's like a life vest, you call it. I don't know, but it's like I didn't know I was drawing. I was happy before, and then I got my kids and got my parents, the staff members, but I think I was struggling so much by myself. I have more capability to accept And so whatever the challenge comes, it really doesn't matter. I was just staring at the all important thing. And I'll think of team who I want to be with and then tackle this issue or what. So it's really not much of fear. And then you asked me, what's the challenging thing is that for me to keep it going, honestly, I started the puzzle with the big piece of maybe like 4 pieces, but now it's so small and more complicated. So apparently I have to do this puzzle with many skilled people, like-minded people, and more to say happy people who are
The
willing.
the puzzle being the business.
Yeah, business and looking at kids' potentials and like parents' needs and how they want to actually contribute to us and like how we're gonna, collaborate well with them, the sort of puzzles, like everyday happy puzzle. Yeah, I can't do it alone. So basically, I want many people to have the view to work together, collaborate together. Therefore, I carry on offering team building exercises. And yeah, and they enjoy being together, helping each other together. So challenge is just maintaining beautiful thing we have and not too afraid the failure or mistakes or some like doom thing that happens. Like, yeah, stay focused, maybe.
I find it fascinating how you've built the international school to such a level in Nagano.
Mm.
And I love Nagano. There's lots of great things about Nagano. It's great. It's great. Great access to Tokyo and Osaka and Nagoya. The food is fantastic. The weather's much better than Tokyo.
Mm.
Why Nagano for your venture instead of other places that at the time might have seemed demographically more appealing?
Right. So I'm originally from Ikeda town in Nagano Prefecture, and my mother lives in Matsumoto. So after I lived abroad for 14 years, I went back to the city where my old high school is located. So my mom was there too. And I had boys that time that was 1 and 3. And I was chatting with mothers in Matsumoto and I realized that they didn't have an international school in that town. And my background is an investment bank and education in UK and Morocco. And I was looking for a job in Tokyo when I got back in Japan, and that was, yeah, 14 years ago. And then it was difficult because when I could find my position, I couldn't find a place for my boys and vice versa. So I went back to Matsumoto figuring out what to do. Then I remembered what the moms in Matsumoto say. They don't have international schools. And then they started offering activities for kids and parents. And the participants number increased so much. And then it was volunteer work for several months, but realized that there's a certain demand for such type of learning environment. So, and like you said, well, I'm a huge fan of the nature, how people live here, and it's really, really ideal for kids and for parents to be. And my kids were born in Casablanca, and they used to speak French. Their first language is French, and then they started speaking English, Arabic, and so they just like me, being in an international environment like that, there must be some other family members as well, not only for the academic reasons, but they travel place to place. So I realized that maybe I can have 15, 2 years old, or like each grade around the area. It shouldn't be too difficult. Then I started in Matsumoto.
I was looking at some population data a while back, specifically about Nagano Prefecture. And did you know that Nagano Prefecture has the highest percentage of all 47 prefectures of U-turn domestic migration? So,
Wow.
so what that is exactly, so what that is, after high school, all the 20-year-olds, they leave to go to university elsewhere, and then usually they go to a major metro area. They graduate, they get the first job, they live in those areas until the point where they begin to start a family, and Nagano Prefecture has that's called the highest percentage of domestic migration back of young families in their 30s and 40s back
Wow.
to the prefecture, because and it sounds like you're a great case study there too, and that's a very U-turn
Yeah.
migration. So Matsumoto, Casablanca,
Yeah.
lots in between, but back in Nagano again, right?
Yeah. Well, definitely. Everybody says that until you get out from this area, you didn't know what treasure you have. And it's guaranteed. It's just so beautiful national parks and rivers and camping areas and food. Yeah. As
And like I say, I love going up there. I take every excuse I can to get up there.
yeah.
The Nakano
Yeah.
campus, and not to confuse Nakano in Nakano Ward of Tokyo, it's Nakano City in Nagano Prefecture, is your latest campus, correct?
That's right. We started 2 years ago, and currently we have about 25 students, and they are mainly graduate students from Nagano campus, because Nagano campus has only placement for 2 years old and then up to 5 years old. So we have bus access from Nagano preschool to Nakano elementary school. And also, it's not only it, some kids live nearby and then they come to Nakano Elementary School.
And that campus, you graciously gave me a tour. It's an old public school.
It's an old public school, which is still beautiful. Yes.
And let's discuss that, because I found that to be super fascinating. After we met, I was looking at some MLIT data that was kind of surprising to me. Every single year across Japan, there's 450 schools as of 2 years ago, as of the latest data that was published, 450 schools that are being closed. And that's across the elementary, junior high, and high school level. Your newest campus is one of those schools.
That's right.
And so you've basically gone in and repurposed it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that process.
Okay, so the city made a public announcement that they wanted to make use of the abandoned school. So we put up our hands, and there was a pitch, and there were two candidates to propose the business plan. And then our idea was to have an international school. They wanted to have a place for kids to play freely. So that was another thing that we do as well there. And you were saying that there are many schools closing. Yeah, apparently that's one of it.
And the city was receptive to your pitch, your proposal. How supportive has the city been during operations?
Well, important thing for the city is to make that place attractive for people living in the city and then also outside the city, so they can have more quality life there for any kind of people, especially people who are raising their children. How supportive they are very supportive, because they know how beautiful the surrounding area is, the facility itself is, and also they want to welcome a lot of different type of people. Thankfully, we have high rates in Google review, and we were expecting to have, let's say, like 10,000 visitors per year for the first year, but we had ended up 50,000 visitors in total. So it's really,
wow.
I know, very popular. And I have to say, it's free for anyone to come and spend time.
Just to reiterate, it's free. These are visitors that were coming looking at the school as possible candidates for their children to go to?
Okay, so this city idea was to make use of this abandoned school, and then half of the area is dedicated for open area for the people living in the city, outside the city. Anyone can come and join. And then half of the area is our international school. That's a very private operation.
Interesting. So the building that I visited, half of it at what needs to be a kind of community center.
That's right.
Interesting. And those are the visitors that you're referring to. That the
You
expecting 10,000, but 50,000 showed up. Wow, that's incredible.
Well, the thing is, they are putting up a higher number next year, so I don't know how we're going to achieve that. They're optimistic.
the endless push of challenge. Given experience with the Nakano City campus there in Nagano, does future expansion for ISN very much include looking at more ICO? And so listeners understand what ICO means. There's Akiya is abandoned residences, where ICO is abandoned schools. Are you targeting more structures like that when looking at expansion, more ICO structures?
Right. We are currently, our focus is in Nagano Prefecture somehow. Maybe it's the geographical, like transportation, sending, training people there. And yes, if the city is interested in having alternative type of education than their traditional type, and if we can be any fit for their policy, I think that's the most important thing, that they agree on or they understand what we are trying to do. It's not a mere business to cater children and keep them for certain time, but more of a nurturing their mind in the global perspective, and a partner, building a partnership with the parents and understanding, sort of coaching way of leading children's interest instead of we giving them what to do. The sort of new approach in Japan, I have to say, is I think that can be applicable to any business situation, community situation as well. In when we look at the how we communicate with people, so that sort of approach might be appealing to some cities, and then if they are interested, and they could consider us as a partner. And that time we might be able to use the abandoned school, which is their property anyway, and we will be fairly chosen with the other candidate, possibly.
Interesting. So a part of the pitch process is how well your educational proposal will augment and fit in well with existing public school education's initiatives. Is my understanding of that correct? So you're not just coming in and saying we're a replacement for education, we're here to help supplement existing education structures.
Well, we don't really intervene what they do in the public school. If they want to change their policy or try out new things, it's absolutely great. But our uniqueness is really an inquiry based, and we doing it really deeply. It's not like inquiry-based approach is quite a trend in Japan and probably elsewhere in the world. But many of the cases, they are given the project, and then let's see how children have chemical reaction to it. But our approach is deeper than that. We ask a lot of questions deliberately, and leads to like certain aspects.
Inquiry approach, inquiry base. Are you referring to a specific Japanese public school teaching method?
It's basically IB. It's coming from IB, International Baccalaureate approach.
Oh, which ISN is an IB school.
Yeah, and also IB has its sort of framework, and we add on to that a more customized way of how we build the relationship in the classroom and home setting and so on. So
Oh,
we,
okay. So inquiry base isn't referring to the Japanese public school system. It's referring to the IB curriculum.
ours, yeah,
Yours. Got it. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So it's the almost the contrast when we go to the new city there, and then if the city thinks that it's beneficial for the city to have different choice in education, so parents can choose, and then yeah, we are more than happy to help.
And Nakano City in Nagano was one of those cities.
Yeah, Nakano was, and the Nagano case, I was us that built the facility on our own. Now, after that, we had a similar opportunity in Matsumoto, where this abandoned school was open for repurposing activity, and then we again joined the proposal. And that was the first abandoned school we tackled was 3 years ago, 3.5 years. Well, actually, we applied for it 4 years ago. And then it succeeded. So we moved on to Nakano case. And then we are opening new school in Saku area. And that's abandoned school as well.
Tell me about the future. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what does the International School of Nagano look like in your eyes?
Yeah, I can see that we can naturally add more family members to our family, and we have quality time together. So meaning that a number of campus will increase, and once we open the preschool, which is the nursery school, and in 2-3 years time, those kids will be in elementary, school age. And then we'll prepare that in advance, collaborating with the government as well, because we need a place and we need to follow regulations in that area too. So we have cross relationship. And so that's almost like a natural growth for us. But strategically, our middle school program is really interesting because thinking that who our parents are, and in different business case who our customers are, they are usually in the managerial position, or they own company, or sometimes they have many companies. So they are already an experts in business and different field. So we developed the program in PYP. It's inquiry-based program and project-based. And then in middle schools, we carry on the program, but more of a business-oriented in a way that an age-appropriate project, such as, for example, we are considering starting grade 6 as well to be a prep MS program year. And then 4 years, and we offer 8 projects every 6-month chunk. And then they can do retail industry, the food industry, medical industry, manufacturing industry, because we have a lot of parents and the company who are supporting ISN has that opportunity. So we integrate those resources and real like challenges and different sizes, and we get to have a look at their factories or office. We visit them. Oh, thank you. Then the children will be basically creating their project. And then after 5 months, they have presentation or some demonstration of starting a cafe or something. And then the collaborator at that point could come and then give us feedback. And then we reflect, and then we move on to next project. I think it's very practical and fun, and then it's really fun for parents to see how children's curiosity integrates business world and then society.
And everything you just described is a middle school level?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fun. It's just that we have, for example, Matsumoto Bonbon festival. Some staff members said, why don't we have a little corner there to sell lemonade? It's just, traditional way of thinking, but just doing that, what preparation do you need? What requirement from the city needs for hygiene inspection? And like, oh, this is good, this is bad. Just learning through experience And then at the end, how many sodas been sold, and it's like a hooray stuff. It's fun.
It sounds fun. I want to try it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm well beyond the middle school age. Fantastic. Are there any plans for a high school curriculum?
High school, so we thought about it, but at the moment, we are relatively busy expanding the number of schools and elsewhere in Nagano Prefecture, and they are growing, so supporting system, team building as well is really important. So we are not really rushing anything. And high school, if we have opportunity, and we'll think about it.
What would you say to someone who wants to start their own international school? So you're here now, very experienced and capable, and you're sitting across the table for someone that says, you know what, I think I want to do an international school in Kumamoto, where TSMC is opening factories, or I want to do an international school in Niseko, for example. What would you say to that person who's just starting out their journey?
Yeah, first thing I'm gonna do is I'll listen to the person's goal, or like what they're dreaming about, carefully, because of the time span, the scale, what kind of education he or she wants to provide. It's always different, but it's always nice to have friends with the government. So instead of doing on your own, you look at mutual benefit and in a bigger scale, I think.
Mutual benefit for the operator, the business owner, and the community that they're working in.
That's right. Yeah. If it's beneficial for the community, they would help you, I reckon.
Without going into huge specifics, let's talk about the student makeup. What percentage is Japanese? What percentage is foreign?
So the student ratio is very unique again. About 10% or so are a foreign background completely. And about 20%, 25%, I'd say, of the family members are half foreigner, half Japanese. And the rest are purely Japanese.
So we're looking at basically 50-50.
Probably, yeah. And when I said both parents are Japanese, quite number of people there, they already lived abroad for a very long period of time. At the same time, it's true that many of our parents hesitate to speak in English. They really wish they could have improved the English earlier. So, but they send kids, and then are we okay to send the kids when we can't really support English? That's perfectly okay with us.
That trend that you just outlined, has it shifted over the years during your operation? So was it more foreign based and then slowly became Japanese, the Japanese attendance grew, or was it 50-50 from the beginning?
Interesting question. Yesterday we had open day for new grade 1 in Gojo campus in Matsumoto. That's primary school. So more than half of them were outside Nagano Prefecture, and many foreign background and family members were there, but similar actually. Similar ratio, because we still have a lot of Japanese, pure Japanese family.
Okay, so compared to 14 years ago to today, it's been roughly half and half.
Yeah.
International oriented families or purely domestic Japanese families, all throughout your journey.
Yeah, and it's a good thing about the foreign family is that if they meet the certain requirement, which is not extremely hard, they can get the scholarship. So when they decided to move this area, I think most of them can afford joining us.
We hope you enjoyed hearing Rie's unique insights, and we thank her deeply for her time. Very much appreciated. You can learn more about the International School of Nagano in the description notes wherever you're listening from. Our theme music was provided by Cheel with the song titled Kurt, found in the YouTube Creator Studio audio library with transition sound effects by various creators on Pixabay. That British lady you heard after our house advertisement? Her name is Lily, and she's a text-to-AI generated voice provided by 11 Labs. No AI bots were harmed in the making of this podcast, and remember, life is only rented, never owned, so be as kind as possible. For Property Adjacent, I'm Adam German, saying thanks for listening and bye for now.
You've been listening to Property Adjacent by Patience Realty.